let's look at some of the effects that we have that you can use to sweeten your audio in Premiere without having to go into Adobe Audition at all. And let me start this off by saying you can definitely do all of the audio adjustments in Audition and then come into Premiere and add these effects on. It isn't a either-or scenario, but I really wanted to show you what footage that is completely untouched by effects and footage that I've pumped up a little bit, how they sound next to each other. So over here we have audio effects. We're going to go straight to vocal enhancer. And in Premiere, if you don't want to have to scroll through all these things, if you forget where things are, type in the search bar, things pop up. To apply your effect, you either double click it or you drag it straight onto your clip. And the effect controls will show up down here. Under individual parameters, you see male and female. If you need to make adjustments to that, go into Edit, 3 choices. Essentially, this deepens the bass part of the voice. And if you listen to a lot of podcasts, radio productions, you'll notice that they have heavily enhanced the mid and lower range of the voice. I find that there's a bunch of fun little things you can do with these. Instant film. It definitely has a lot of power to the voice, and when you hear that bass, I feel like there is a natural human instinct that we're listening to an authority figure, and that could be Barry White's singing, that could be some kind of political speech, but having that lower range present really makes a huge difference in your presentation. Of the other effects that are present, there are ones that you certainly wouldn't use at all, like the chorus and flanger, unless you wanted to make your character sound like some kind of alien. But we do have a few things that are very similar to what we had in Adobe Audition. One of them is the dynamics processing. I'll go ahead and apply that. And when we go into custom setup, under the drop-down presets menu, one of our choices is vocal limiter. That's pretty much the same thing that we had in Adobe Audition. There's also a voiceover. It'll be up to you which one sounds better to you, but I'm always a fan of the vocal limiter. As you can see, it cuts off a certain range here. And then we do have a de-esser. I'll apply that. One thing that's pretty common with the cheap lavalier microphone that I bought is when the battery starts to go, one of the channels does not record very well. And by channels, I mean the left speaker and the right speaker. So in this particular example, I can zoom in on the waveform, and I can definitely see there is sound in both of these. If my microphone is not picking up both channels, if it's only getting the left or the right, I do have a preset here, fill left with right, fill right with left, and I find I have to use that a lot. The last area I want to point out is not under audio effects, but under audio transitions, and we only have 3 of these: constant gain, constant power, and exponential fade. When you have audio clips and you are splicing them together, so I'll go ahead and cut this and cut this part, remove it. Even though this cut was done in one take, it's pretty likely there's going to be some kind of bump in the waveform that goes from clip A to clip B, and it's going to be kind of an unnerving transition. So anytime you have clips that bump against each other, I recommend doing a little bit of constant power. So we're going to put that there. It does not have to be that long of a transition. You can shrink your transition within the clip, or if you double click the transition, you can set the duration to how many frames you want. So this is only a 6-second overlap, but that is enough to stop the waveform from having this hard edit and then starting again over here. There's a flow. And what I'm saying doesn't make any sense, but for sure you don't hear this abrupt clack sound. That kind of stuff is incredibly irritating to any listener and viewer.